Welcome to the Art of Criticism. My name is Jamie Smith, and I am a prevention educator with the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council of Delaware County, also known as ADAC. We are a prevention, education, and referral service. So thank you for joining me for the Art of Criticism. I'd like to start off with establishing why. Why are we talking about criticism now? We're all feeling overwhelmed, tired, vulnerable. Like, why would we want to talk about criticism, something that challenges our sense of value and implies judgment and is a hit to our ego? Well, as I was researching criticism, I found out that if done correctly, criticism can offer us a ton. Here are some of the things that I have found. Criticism helps to give us a new perspective, and it opens our eyes to things that we may have overlooked and never considered. Criticism helps us grow by shedding light and giving an opportunity for improvement. Criticism is meant to help you learn and grow and is not an attack on your skills or character. I want to repeat that one. Criticism is meant to help you learn and grow, and it is not an attack on your skills and character. How often do we think the exact opposite? And criticism gives you an opportunity to build resiliency. We have been hearing that word resiliency a ton right now. But what resiliency does is it helps get us through those hard times to the other side, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you want to think of it that way. So those are the whys that I believe that we are talking about criticism right now. I really love this quote by Franklin P. Jones. It says, "Honest criticism is hard to take, particularly from a relative, a friend, an acquaintance, or a stranger." What is this quote telling us? It's telling us that no matter what kind of criticism or from whom, it's hard to take, right? We're reminded again, I said this in the last slide, that it implies judgment, and none of us want to feel judged. But if we take it as an opportunity for growth, we come out wiser, stronger, more helpful and caring human beings. In this picture, I have a picture of a bouncy ball, because I like to think of resiliency as bouncing back. And sometimes we can be that bouncy ball, and when someone gives us criticism, we feel that hit, that throw to the ground. And we can either stay there, or we can take that opportunity again to come up with force and to become better, stronger versions of ourselves. I hope this is starting to help you set the stage for the rest of the presentation on the type of criticism that I will be focusing on today. Criticism is basically categorized into two different parts, constructive and destructive. Now, take the time right now to take a snapshot of this chart. And if I move along too fast, I bet if you type it into Google, you could find this similar chart. What I love about this chart is it acts as a checklist for us to determine if we are actually giving someone else constructive criticism or destructive, or is someone else giving us constructive or destructive criticism. So let's take a closer look. Constructive criticism, it intends to educate, but destructive intends to embarrass. Constructive is related to the work, whereas destructive can feel like a personal attack. Constructive, it helps to build on an idea. It's not meant to tear down an idea. It makes the outcome better, not makes the person feel worse. It is intelligent and calculated. It should not include rapid fire and random responses. And it comes along to help. It doesn't try to take over. There are varieties of criticisms, and our main focus will be on how to deliver constructive criticism. How can we help others improve? Now, take a look at that intelligent and calculated, because I had to ask myself, how can I make sure that my delivery is intelligent and calculated? And I'll share with you a guide, a value system that we can use that can assure us that if we are hitting these 5 points that I'm about ready to share with you, it will make sure that we are delivering an intelligent and calculated criticism. And this is known as the 5 guiding principles of trauma-informed care. There are safety, trustworthiness, collaboration, choice, and empowerment. And I find these 5 guiding principles to be great anchors for my personal life and my professional life. Am I, on a personal level, trying to put into the effort of creating a physically and emotionally safe environment for the people that are around me? Am I working to build trust and clear boundaries? Am I collaborating well? Am I respectfully working together with others? Am I respecting other people's freedoms of choice, autonomy, right? People have the right to act on his or her own values or interests. Am I respecting that? And am I offering also choices for them and not just saying it has to be this way? Empowerment. Are we focusing on strengths and empowering others to build on those strengths? I use this as a personal guiding post for myself, something to anchor me, bring me back to, okay, am I out of line here? And also, I think it's really important when you are working with others that you are all trying to work towards these same goals. If you are doing that, I assure you that you will be mindful of if your delivery of constructive criticism is intelligent and calculated. Now we know the difference between what constructive criticism looks like and destructive criticism looks like. We're given that checklist. And then we're given these 5 guiding values that we can use as an anchor to make sure that before we give that criticism, we kind of have our ducks in a row, so to speak. Here is a dialogue that you can use when you're ready to give that constructive criticism to somebody. The sandwich method. The sandwich method can be controversial, and that's because some people think that when you offer a positive before the bad news, that it's like softening the blow. But if you have built a foundation on those 5 principles, and you have that person's respect and trust and safety, this is a very successful method to use. And how it goes is step 1, begin with some positive comments regarding the situation in question. This is where people get hung up on thinking that this is softening the blow. But what this is actually doing is telling that other person, you can relax. I'm here to support you, not attack you. 2, and this is optional based on the type of relationship you have with this person and how long you've known them and maybe what kind of feedback you've given them in the past. But give praise for the person's strong points. What this means is give praise where praise is due. If you do not do that, If you give praise and praise isn't due, it devalues your comment, is what I'm trying to say. So that one's an optional one based on the type of history and relationship you have. And then 3, now's the time to give the criticism. You want to try to make sure it's as clear as you possibly can and give examples. Give examples of what why you believe this certain thing is a problem. And keep in mind their needs, capabilities, and situation. So again, when you give the criticism, try to be very clear and specific. Give examples, and keep in mind their needs, capabilities, and situation. In step 4, remind the person of their strong points. This is just restating to them and reaffirming them that, or reassuring them that you are confident that they can improve. And step 5, offer support in the areas for improvement and leave on a positive note. In step 5, we're going to revisit in a few slides. If you need a simple way of remembering the sandwich method, you could break it down to praise, improvement, praise, or like I often tell the students that I'm teaching this method to, bread, filling, bread, right? We're acknowledging the positive and the strong in the person. We're then stating what the problem is and what we need to see improved or changed. We're reminding that person of their strongs. And then we're saying, I'm here to support you in making this happen and to seeing you succeed. I statements. When delivering constructive criticism, it is important to focus on the specific action, outcome, or behavior. This is a tool that you can use to assure that you are not attacking the person. When you say, you did this, that makes the other person feel attacked. And when you feel attacked, what do? You want to protect yourself. You're going to shut down. You're no longer listening. You're in this, I'm going to protect myself or fight back, right? And that gets in the way of the purpose of this criticism. But when you use an I statement, and this is just one example of dialogue that you could use, a sentence you could use when you get ready to deliver your criticism. What it does is it's saying, this is from my perspective. This is the way I see it. You're focusing on your experience, your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions, and your decisions and your observations. You're not focusing then on any beliefs or judgments you made about the other person. You see the difference? You're saying, this is how I feel because, and you're giving them examples, right? What's the action going on here that's making you feel this way? And what do I need from this? Our tone really does set the stage here. And an I statement is a great way to assure that you're taking responsibility for your feelings, your observations, and communicating what you need to see changed. And offering feedback. That was at number 5 on our sandwich method. Offer feedback that the person can put into action straight away to improve their performance, skill, etc. Whatever it is that you addressed with that other person. This might look like, are there training opportunities? Maybe offering to meet with them on a weekly basis to help assess and evaluate their progress and where they might need further supports. It might be suggesting YouTube videos, or, you know, seeing what you can offer within the office, and maybe their office setting, maybe the lighting is really bright and it's hard for them to focus, and so they're not being the best that they can be at work because of maybe certain things around them that need tweaked. This is an opportunity to say, I'm not going to leave you. I didn't just drop this bomb in your lap and say, figure it out. I'm here to support you. I'm here to see you improve and succeed. So feedback is very, very vital to this process. We don't want to leave someone hanging and then feeling like we're then hindering their progress because we just left them to figure it out on their own. No, we're there to support and not be in the way of their success in that. So offering feedback that is probably going to look a little different based on the situation at hand. Okay, yes. So I also want to just pause right here, do a quick review, because then we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. Constructive versus destructive. We have our chart. Use that as your checklist. 5 guiding principles. Use it as your anchor. Okay? Sandwich method. We were giving a dialogue on how to have this conversation. Praise, improvement, praise. Bread, filling bread, right? I statements. Taking ownership and responsibility for how you feel about the situation, not attacking the other person, but addressing what the problem is. Offering feedback. I'm here to support you through this. Let's figure out how we can help you improve your performance and skill. Okay. Now we're going to switch to the art of taking criticism. We've learned how we can give it, but how do we take it? I believe to solve a problem or improve a situation, we need to be able to listen to the criticism. It does not mean that we necessarily have to accept it right away, because there might be some weighing that we have to do beforehand, but we need to be able to listen to it. And I'm going to teach you how we can do that. So ART, art. A is for ask. What's the problem? This is giving the other person that chance to be specific. So for example, I have on the screen here, if they say you're inconsiderate, ask what you did that was inconsiderate. Can you give me some examples of when I was inconsiderate? I want to stop here for a minute. If they cannot back up their side, that invalidates their criticisms. Okay? If they cannot back up with examples and they cannot be specific, that invalidates their criticism. As humans, what we tend to do is we come with ourselves and all of our filters and all of our struggles and hurts and things that are going on internally. And we sometimes project them on others. So if we can't specifically say what the problem is with some examples, maybe we were projecting on that other person. This kind of gives us the chance to say, ooh, you know, maybe I was just feeling crummy and projected that. Okay, that's that great part of this conversation that can really clarify for someone. I don't have to receive this criticism because it's just kind of going down that tunnel of destructive. Or, okay, this person's given me some really, good examples of my behavior or actions, and I need to better understand what's going on here. And then that leads us to R. R is for restate the other person's side. So you're going to restate both the facts and the feelings by asking, here's some examples of verbiage you could use. So you feel blank because blank. Is that it? Or are you saying you feel blank because blank? What that is doing is that's opening the door for any miscommunication to be corrected. And it's giving that person the opportunity to say, yeah, that is what I mean, or no, let me better explain to you how I'm feeling and what the facts are. Once you've then established what the real problem is, you can move to the T. And T is for tell the other person you're sorry or tell your side. Maybe you need to apologize. You were in the wrong and you need to offer them an apology. Maybe you have a different point of view. And now that you've taken the time to listen to them, it's now their time to listen to your side of the story. Or maybe you need to work on improving a skill. We all have blind spots. We all have things, we can't always see ourselves clearly. And sometimes we don't realize that we're lacking in a skill. That's an opportunity that we can then say, oh my goodness, I did not realize that. I need to work on this and improve this. And that's your opportunity for growth. It's shedding light on something so that we can improve and better ourselves. Learning the art of criticism is a great tool because it helps you focus on the problem. So a little review. A, ask what is the problem and ask for specifics. R, restate what the other person has said. And T, tell your side or tell them you're sorry. I want to take a minute and really address something. You have permission to weigh people's criticisms. You do not have to take every criticism that comes to you. If you've used that checklist and you've had that conversation and you have realized that this was purely intended to be destructive, you have permission to say no, thank you. If it is not meant for your growth, then say no, thank you. Sometimes we need to be reminded that we have permission to do that. So here's a little cartoon for you. Here's some criticism. No thanks, I've got my own. Thought that was important for us to remember. I want to leave you with this last question. Why would training require a thank you? And here's the thought behind this question. Someone had shared with me that in the military, and we're not sure if they still do this, but when a soldier or when an officer corrects a soldier, they are then required to say thank you. And the thought behind that is, when you say thank you, what you're doing is you're accepting what they just offered you. What we tend to do is we tend to reject when hard things are told to us, or maybe when hurtful things are told to us. But when you say thank you, that means that you're receiving that and taking that as an opportunity for growth. So that's why I believe that training does require a thank you, because then we can then connect that to ourselves and say, okay, this is my opportunity to grow. I thought that was a great question. And I wanted to share that question with you and have you think about that as well. Why would training require a thank you? I think it gives us a great opportunity to grow. Okay. As most of you, delivering our presentations and just working through the computer more. We are at ADAC are used to being in classrooms and interacting face to face. This is new for us, and we would really appreciate it if you could take some time to answer these 3 questions for us. What will you share, or will you share what you learned? Yes or no? Who will you share with? And what will you share? And you can email me your answers at jsmith@stny.twcbc.com. I can give you a minute. You can snapshot it or you can write it down. What this does is this really helps us to see what's working, what's not, where we need to improve. So this is really important for us, and we appreciate you taking the time to do this. Once I've received your response in my email, will then email you back a certificate of completion for your professional development. And I just want to take another minute to thank you for joining me for the Art of Criticism. This last page is where I've gotten some of my research from. If you're interested, these are great resources. We at ADAC can be reached at adaconline.org. We have great wellness resources for parents, resources for teachers, resources on what are some of the services available in Delaware County. And you can also like us and follow us on Facebook at ADAC of Delaware C. Thank you again for joining me.